Hi, I'm Ethan, I love muzzleloading, and this is the 2022 NMLRA Spring Shoot. Right off the bat, I want to say that I have limited footage from this event. I can only make it down for a single day, and this event is hard to cover in a single day. I spent a lot of time at this event catching up with friends after a long winter. It's kind of one of the first large events of this summer, as well as some industry representatives to get an idea of where the industry is going for the second half of the year. I'll have more on that in another video specifically for muzzleloading news. To see some more of this great event and really kind of a wider swath of it, I really want to tell you to go to the NMLRA YouTube channel. It's under the National Muzzleloading Rifle Association, but I bring this up because the NMLRA has brought on a new media team here to celebrate and promote the National Muzzleloading Rifle Association, and they're going to have full event coverage through the week coming out of this great 2022 shoot. I'm in full support of what they're doing, and I'm so excited to see this new media team in action to promote the great sport of muzzleloading and this great association. It's nice to have the leadership at the NMLRA looking forward and not back. I was able to make it down for the first Saturday of the shoot. Historically for this event, the first weekend is the largest with the crowd and with the number of vendors and participants. The weather was just perfect. I mean, it was warm, probably got into the 80s, but it was nice and sunny. Really a great event, and each vendor I talked to was very pleased with the foot traffic they were seeing, as well as the number of younger people that were inside that foot traffic. It's something that a lot of the vendors mentioned to me, that they noticed a marked increase of younger people walking around and enjoying the show, which is great and a great indicator for this summer of muzzleloading and for the future of the sport as a whole. The NMLRA shoots date back to 1933, making this event one of the largest legacy events in the country. And because of that legacy and because of that history, this is an event kind of like no other, where you can go and meet with a wide variety of the muzzleloading industry. You've got competitive shooters, you've got builders, you've got businesses, you've got small and large businesses that support the sport and the community. It's really got everything, and because of that, you're able to meet with so many different aspects of the industry. Now, I'll have some more information about the muzzleloading news that's come out of the NMLRA Spring Nationals here in another video. Be sure to check that out. There are some figures that have been an icon of the area and of the sport for many years, and this event is sadly a yearly reminder of those that we've lost. And I want to make a note here of the memorial set up by the Friends of Chuck Oder here to recognize his contributions to the sport and the community, and as well, regrettably, Max Egoff, who passed just last week. It was nice to see a reminder of these guys. I mean, to me, they were always kind of the old, the old graybeards of the sport, but seeing some of the pictures here of them as young men and enjoying the sport, it's really nice to see, and I think a great indicator of where we've been and how crucial these people were to getting the sport to where we are today. So there's a contrast at an event like this. Because of that history, you know that it's going to keep going, and you see the crowds and things, but it's a nice reminder to sit down and remember and just pause for a minute for those that have came before. One of my favorite stops at an NMLRA event is Gunmakers Hall. Gunmakers Hall resides inside a period cabin, and it's set up to be a display of traditional craftsmanship. And this is gun building, leather working, horn working, anything related to muzzleloading has a home at the Gunmakers Hall. Inside you'll find a display of beautiful contemporary muzzleloaders and accoutrements. I want to make a note here that Henry Bowman, a member of the NMLRA and the Honorable Company of Horners, built and installed a beautiful cabinet to showcase the work of both associations here, and as well as some original horn work as well, to show the variety of horn work. It's not just about powder horns, as they like to say. So thank you, Henry, for putting this cabinet together and contributing to the Gunmakers Hall. Now, what's great about Gunmakers Hall is you're not just looking at completed or in-progress pieces. On the back porch, you can check out contemporary makers honing their craft and going through the entire build process of different aspects of muzzleloading, from muzzleloading rifles to rifling barrels to traditional accoutrements and leatherworking, as well as some engraving and lock work back there. It's really a great space just to jump in and get neck deep in traditional muzzleloading. Like I said, I could not cover the entire event in one day, so this is primarily Commercial Row, where you can catch up and meet up with the vendors and craftspeople and the small businesses and the big businesses really of the muzzleloading community. Some things I'm not able to show are the massive, like, quarter-mile long firing line with every discipline of muzzleloading marksmanship that you can imagine, from long-range silhouette shooting to chunk shooting to bench shooting, offhand buffalo, pistol shooting, and you have 3 different muzzleloading, or 4 different muzzleloading shotgun venues with trap, skeet, sporting clays, as well as the quail walk. On the other side of the creek, just in case you're planning a trip for the September National Championships, you'll find the primitive area, which is dedicated to ultra traditional muzzleloading, where they have the woods walk and a primitive firing line behind a traditionally built blockhouse. It sets in the woods of southern Indiana with a nice rocky creek off to one side, where you can just get dug in on your traditional muzzleloading, your tomahawk and knife throwing, as well as your primitive archery. On that side, you'll find a lot of other vendors and craftspeople as well, demonstrating their trade and offering you, some more of the living history focused muzzleloading items. You'll find a wide variety of that on Commercial Row, but it's kind of a hybrid of some of the modern utilitarian muzzleloading items as well as the artful items. So I encourage you, if you can make it out to this show, the September shoot will be coming, like I said, there in September. It's a great opportunity to get in and shop and meet up with people. I like it because I can save a little bit on shipping costs. Now, with gas prices this year, it might be a little cheaper to have ordered online, but it's nice to meet up and shop and meet the people that you're buying from places like the Log Cabin Shop, from Chambers Flintlocks LLC, Mike Eder and Deer Creek Products, among many, many others. With that, I've got my bag of goodies. I wanted to just share and highlight some of the things that I was able to pick up. Like I said in my other videos, I try to budget a little bit before each show, set back 10 or 20 bucks each paycheck, as I know I'm heading into an event like this, so I can pick up some items and support and give back to the community, as well as be set up for what I like to be doing here on my home range. So first up, I want to show, I got this great t-shirt from Tambi that shoots in black powder. It's got a nice little Schutzen logo there, and on the back, I heart black powder. I'm gonna have to be wearing this in some videos here down the road. Thank you, Tambi, really appreciate that. Next up, I picked up this RMC ox yoke ball discharger. I picked this up from the Log Cabin Shop, and it's something that I wanted to pick up, and I just kind of forgot about it. And when I saw it in the Log Cabin Shop booth, I thought, well, that's what I need right there. I know I'm going to dry ball here at some point, especially on video, and something like this makes it a little bit easier to get those dry balls out without having to get out your ramrod jags or anything. And it can be a little more certain, I think. At the NMLRA Nationals, they have large CO2 tanks to deal with dry balls, but for your personal use, something like this is a really nice thing to have. It comes with 3 CO2 cartridges there, the actual unit, as well as a rubber tip so that you can go over the nipple on a percussion muzzleloader or press up against the touch hole on a flintlock muzzleloader. I think this ran me about 35 bucks, so if you're interested in something like this, it's pretty affordable, I think, and it's something good to have in your range box. Next, I've got another book by Charles Hayes. I picked up one of his books at the Fall Frolic last fall. That book was focused on the War of 1812 and the journey down to Louisiana. This one is the first in a 4-part series, kind of going from Valley Forge and the American Revolution and going through a few of the key battles there. So I'm excited to read this one. In between changing diapers and holding the baby now, I have a little bit more time to read, which is super nice. And Charles' books are super affordable and offer, some good research and, a good way to escape a little bit into history. I also picked up some more Wildcat Valley Browning solution. I used this in the Gemmer Hawken video series, and I had a hunch that this was from Jerry Eder and now Mike Eder at Flintlocks LLC, but I wasn't certain, and Mike reached out and said, hey, thanks for using my dad's formula on your video series, and it was just I think we had a little bit of a moment there, Mike and I did, just remembering Jerry and the impact that he had on muzzleloading here in central Indiana. If you didn't know Jerry, we set up just a beautiful muzzleloading shop, and it was dedicated to being at just about every NMLRA event over, I don't know, 40, 50 years, if not more, really. And he was just a really great guy. He had a weekly shop night at his shop where guys could come in with their muzzleloaders and work in Jerry's shop and use his tools to help further promote the sport. And hearing that the Wildcat Valley solution came from Jerry, it just meant a lot more to me. I knew him as a kid and as a young adult, and he was pretty ornery. So I had to pick up another bottle of this just to have it in the shop so I can use it on some more builds and keep carrying on some of Jerry's tradition. You can pick this up from Flintlocks LLC from Mike Eder. This is a $7 bottle. You can see it in the build series. It works super well. You don't need a humidity chamber or anything. You don't need to overcomplicate it, and it works really well. And lastly, as I finish up my traditional or period trekking, leaving history kit, I needed a traditional knife and fork or cutlery set. And I'd been kind of mulling over some of the items available from like Townsend's or Samson Historical, but I thought, you know, I'd go see what I could find at the NMLRA Nationals, not knocking Townsend's or Samson Historical, great items there. But I was able to find this set of kind of antique or older knife and fork combo there. You can kind of see from Terrace Molyneux at the Horner's Cabin down there on the primitive side. You can see there they've got a beautiful horn side faces there with maybe some poured pewter in there. I'm going to clean this up, sharpen this knife up a little bit so it's a little more usable. The fork is a 4-tine fork. I think this might be a little bit later than the period I'm going for, but I just liked it, and it came in a nice little leather case here so that I can keep them clean, keep them out of the rest of my kit there. Really pleased with that find. It was pretty affordable, and it's nice to have something that's been used and looks a little bit old. That's all I have for you for this event. I hope you enjoyed some of the close-up shots of the wide variety of things that you can find. My video definitely favored heavily on the muzzleloader side to show you some of the muzzleloaders that you can see there. But as with every NMLRA national event, you can find a wide variety from traditional to modern muzzleloading supplies. You can find original muzzleloaders, contemporary muzzleloaders, all the parts and accessories and accoutrements that you might need for your muzzleloading, as well as books to continue your research. I can't tell you how many books are at this event that are just, the information is not available anywhere else. I mean, it's fun, it's great to hang out on YouTube and online and chat about all this stuff, but please go out there and find some of these books. They're published by small businesses to keep this history going, and the more we purchase and keep those printers going, printing this muzzleloading information, the more of this stuff is accessible to future muzzleloading enthusiasts. Like I said at the beginning, check out the National Muzzleloading Rifle Association at NMLRA.org, as well as their social media channels. Really excited about what the media team there is doing, continuing and promoting the great sport of muzzleloading with a great association. I'm Ethan, I love muzzleloading. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you next time.